our topic this evening basically is on proofreading and editing what we have written as an academic essay. Although our focus is on proofreading and editing, we are going to, of course, touch a bit on other related skills in the academic context. What we're basically looking at today is proofreading and editing. Right. Maybe before we start, I will ask you to look for the meaning of proofreading and editing. What is the difference between these two? Because you need to do proofreading after writing your academic essay. I know some of you possibly would want us to type that. I'm giving you 2 minutes to define proofreading. What is proofreading? So remember, you write your essay and then you have to proofread it before submitting. Let's just look at this process. And then what is proofreading? How does it, how does it differ from editing? Okay, you may want to raise your hand. If you already know, I'll give you the chance to talk. What is proofreading? You have an essay, it's done. You have written your ideas, everything. Now you do proofreading. Let's define it. Any hand? Yes, Jackie?
Proofreading, according to my knowledge, I think it's when you have written your essay and you are going back to examine it, correct the errors where you made mistakes. You reread the essay, then you correct the errors that you did on your process of writing. Then I think that's proofreading.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I hear you. Then editing. Because sometimes you might get a comment from your marker to say you need to edit or you need to proofread that essay. Okay. Basically, as you have indicated, you are looking at various grammatical mistakes, and then you are correcting whether it's grammatical mistakes, punctuation mistakes, spelling mistakes, paragraphing errors, etc., logical sequencing. Okay, so that's what you are looking at. Remember, we have always said academic writing is a process, it's not an event. So when I'm saying academic writing is a process, it's not an event, it's never a single sitting practice and then you come up with a good essay. I know that there are some students who will say they can quickly write an essay on a piece of paper where maybe they only have 1 hour left or 2 hours left before the submission deadline. Just take a pen and they scribble, then they submit. Now, you hardly get good marks out of that kind of a submission because there is a lot that academics are looking for, which you have not had enough time to attend. So when we say a proofreading process, you know, we're talking about looking at the entire document that you have produced and checking whether this document complies with the requirements. It could be, like I've indicated, language-related mistakes, which you correct, you fix. We know that we have got a lot of software, you know, proofreading software. The most common one is Grammarly.com. Some of you, you'll share your experiences on how you proofread. Possibly you will demonstrate online, I'll give you the chance to share your screens so that you can teach others how to do this process. Right. So you need to look at almost every aspect of quality writing, and then check if your work complies. And at the end of it, your work must be clean or must be free from unnecessary grammatical, spelling, punctuation, and coherence errors. You know, sometimes you read an essay, you realize this thing has no direction. It doesn't show you the introduction, the main part, and the conclusion. It's like, you know, you're just reading something, but you cannot make head and tail of it. Possibly the quality of the argument itself is very weak. So this is what we are going to be looking at now, because we are looking at proofreading. Right, then editing. You'd understand that when we talk about editing, we are still within the domain of proofreading. When you edit, you are still doing proofreading. But you will see now that editing will have to do with trimming or removing unnecessary words, you know, coming up with a more refined piece of work. So when you edit, you basically trim, you know, see this idea relevant? Okay, let me see if I can change this sentence here. It doesn't seem to link logically with the previous one. But as you do editing, you are doing the proofreading process. So the proofreading and editing basically are synonymous. But take note now that those of you that have got the resources, if your English is not that well refined, no matter how you try, remember, in the academic context, you are required to write in appropriate academic discourse. So if there are challenges, some of you that possibly want to try that avenue, you can get support from UNISA in as far as proofreading and editing of your work is concerned. But you need to submit your work well before. You cannot give it now and then say, okay, can I get it done by the end of the day? It's something that you submit well ahead of time. But sometimes you might, maybe depending on the urgency of the work, you need to hire a private person to do the editing for you. You'll notice that when you do your postgraduate studies, especially with your master's and your PhD, you will certainly be required to produce a proofreading certificate from a qualified editor. So it's quite a serious issue. That's why I'm saying you cannot just sit down there and just scribble something and then you realize that it has got a lot of spelling mistakes, a lot of grammatical mistakes, and then you are giving it to the university professors to assess, and then you expect a pass. Quite frankly, it's quite difficult to pass a student whose work has not been proofread or whose work does not have evidence of editing. So let's take this one seriously and attend to it today. Unless there is a response to what I've said, I will continue. Any response to what I've indicated? You may type if you have got a question, but like I've indicated, there's different types of support from UNISA. I'm providing a tutorial support. There are other people that provide this editing support where you can come up with your pieces of writing and you write to them. We will give you the details, but they are normally given in your tutorial letters, especially with the support when you did your registration. Check in your registration documents. They mentioned something about support. There's different types of support. It could be psychosocial support where you need, to be given that counseling, how you can forge ahead with your studies when things look almost impossible. You need that that support. Is all there in your registration document. And I remember also seeing this one for proofreading and also learning the art of writing. Remember, writing is a skill which, even if you could have passed your matric, or even if you have passed other courses, you still need to learn this skill of writing. So there is quite a number of people that would give you that support, but I'm focusing on the tutorial for today. Right. So the proofreading process, I've indicated now that we need to have documents, and we indicate that this document that we are submitting went through a proofreading process. Can I get an indication of how you do your proofreading after you have written your submission? You've already written them and submitted them. How did you do your proofreading? Because agree with me, you may not see your own mistakes. So do not tell me that you are the one who does the proofreading. Yes, you are the one who does the proofreading, I agree. But how then do you make sure that you are consistent in checking that the mistakes that you have done are fixed? How do you do it? Do you really give it to other people, or do you use software that will assist you, something that is more than just yourself? Okay, I saw a hand there. I want to allow. Yes, Jackie?
Usually when I'm done writing my first draft, I give it to someone. There is someone who's teaching English whom I give it to them. They correct me where did I do mistakes. They highlight it to me. Then they give it back to me so that I can rewrite the work. Then again, after, because I can't correct all the, I can't say I will correct all the mistakes that I did. Sometimes I'm unable to see my mistakes, whereas there are mistakes. So hence I give them to correct me first. Then after correcting me, then they will give me a feedback before I do my final draft.
Okay, awesome. Any responses to what Jackie has just said? Is there anyone else who finds that strategy very useful? Today, I want us to talk. I want you to hear your voices, please. It's a conversation. It's an academic engagement. Right, let's get to hear other people. Right, Katlego, you may put your hand down. Thank you for that insightful contribution. He says he gives it to somebody whom he knows is qualified in English language teaching, and then they can point the errors they have done, and then they fix them, which is quite good. Is there anyone with a different strategy to that? Because you are not going to say you are going to write this thing and just send it in. I know there are some of us who just take a page. We write our academics assignment on that UNISA pad. I know there's a UNISA pad that we used to buy a long time ago when we were still writing our assignments and submitting them as hard copies. But you understand now that UNISA went, in fact, UNISA decided to abandon hard copy assignments. There is no more hard copy assignments. All assignments are done online. So I know there are people who still write hard copies on hard copies and then scan them and then just send them through. But when you read the piece of work, you will see that this has been written by hand and then scanned and then submitted. We need to talk about that as well in terms of quality. Remember, when you are doing proofreading and you have just done it by hand, so it means you need somebody else who will also assist you by marking, like they're marking your essay from a scripted school. But in this case, we want us to refer to how we can do this, especially online, because we have got software that we can use. And I want us to possibly share on how we can use some of the software to do the proofreading process, other than just writing it by hand and giving it to another person to mark and to fix. Also, if you submit it being handwritten, you know, you'd understand that your handwriting sometimes, you know, some of us have never written very well for academic purposes. So the way you write with your free hand could be illegible to somebody who has to read your work. So we need legibility. You need to make sure whatever you are writing is readable. So part of the editing has to do with the quality of the handwriting itself. So if you know that you cannot write legibly, therefore you need to start getting into the art of typing. In fact, at university, most universities now have done away with handwritten assignments. Like you just handwrite it, then you scan it, then you send. Sometimes the quality of the scanning also is very poor. You realize that it's too faint for the lecturer to mark. And once it's too faint, obviously, the person who is marking your work can't follow your argument. Your marks won't be that pleasant, right? So I'm mentioning these issues because we need to start going beyond what we do individually to saying, how do we engage technology into this process? How do we engage, obviously, other people who are skilled? How do we also get into support, right, from various organizations that can say, okay, now you are doing academic writing, we can assist you in this regard. So this is what we are discussing today. And everybody here should say something about how they have ensured that their piece of work is quality guaranteed. Who checks the quality before you submit? Surely you cannot just write and then just submit and then expect a pass. Right, can I get more hands? Those that have got a screen that they want to share, say maybe you are using Grammarly.com and you're connected, you're online, I'll give you the opportunity to present your proofreading abilities online so that you can inspire others to do the same. Right, can I get people that want to volunteer to share their pieces of work, and we can discuss, obviously, how they could have edited or corrected certain errors. So at this stage, I want us to present our essays, whether it was written for whatever program. But what I want you to do now is just to show other students how you are navigating the online space to support your academic writing skills. If you are not using Grammarly.com or any other software to allow you to proofread, you can talk about Microsoft Word, because when you are typing, there's Microsoft Word. You can go to Microsoft Word right now and do a presentation of that and show other students how they can do the same, because I know there are some here who just do not know how to edit a piece of work on the computer. Because we are using a computer, we certainly need to edit using the computer's rather than editing with freehand, or maybe just sending it through an email and asking someone to correct, then they send an email back to you. You know, I wouldn't want that. Okay, I want us to be open now and try to share these skills. Can I allow 5 minutes just to check if there's somebody out there who has got this technical know-how? Just put any piece of work, take the lead in this discussion. Remember, I'm not a teacher, I'm a facilitator. We are not going to say you are wrong. We are not going to judge you in a negative way, but would appreciate your contribution. I'm waiting for hands. I remember last week I assigned a few essays. I said they should be of an argumentative nature. It doesn't matter whether it's not of argumentative nature. Anything that will take you to a writing space where you do the editing. Can we just get into that territory? Right, a reminder. So what you will be doing now is to take your computer, especially those that are using computers. If you are on a cell phone, it's not that easy because you need to be on a laptop. Can I suggest what you will do? You take your essay, preferably in Word form, not in PDF. Take it in Word form, open it. Then you will go to Microsoft Word. Then when you get to Microsoft Word, you will obviously go to Home. There's a link. When you check Microsoft Word, there's a pop-up there that says Home. You click that one. Then it will take you to Review. Right? You click that Review. I'm sure you know these things. You click that Review. Then it will take you to Spelling and Grammar. And then you will click that part. So when you have clicked that part now, it will be scanning your document, showing you that this word is inappropriately used. Can we change it? Normally, it likes to tell you to use a passive or active voice. You depending now on the nature of the grammatical mistake that the document is speaking. So it will basically, it's like it's just doing everything. All you are doing is to agree to say, change that word. Okay, do not change that word. Okay, I'm fine with this. Then, you know, it will also show you the number of words. Remember now, sometimes you don't know the number of words that you are writing. As you are typing, it shows you clearly how many words have you composed. There is nothing new here. I just want to get somebody just to do what they normally do all the time. Adults who are scared, adults who are scared, adults who are scared. This is really, really getting interesting now. So it means you guys do not proofread.
I am busy doing that, but I am actually on my cell phone and laptop at the same time. So sharing the screen will be impossible.
That's why I said you need a laptop, right? There is an error there. You see where it says camera, there is mic. Next to that, there's an error. Please, on your laptop, not on the cell phone, because you need to, yeah, but it's fine. Maybe I should have asked how many people are on laptops and how many people are on laptops. For sure,
yes,
for
because what I'm currently doing is I'm actually doing an assignment while I am attending class.
Thank you, Percy. You the person that, you know what, Percy, you have just helped us here. You know what, just do us a favor. You said you're on a laptop?
Yeah, I'm using a cell phone, but I'm using a laptop for my assignment.
Your laptop is online?
Yes, it's online.
Are you able to, okay, I don't know, you logged into this session with a cell phone, not with a laptop.
Not with a laptop, yes, because the login ins will read an employee of UNISA.
No, I get you. I get you. So, okay, if you can, during the course of this discussion, just shift, go to the laptop and log in there so that you can share what you're doing. I want you to share the process that you are following, because as you are writing now, you are definitely applying some of the things that I should be talking about. But I don't want to just talk about. We want to observe. We want to see it practically happening. Right. But I'm happy you have mentioned that. Anybody else, ladies and gentlemen, that is trying to show us how they do it? I'm a facilitator, like I've indicated. I just want to see your skills, how you go about it. So when I wanted to illustrate that, so when you raise your hand and I give you a chance to say, let's go to that specific activity, what you will do basically is to say, get permission to share your screen. So obviously I'll stop sharing mine, then I will allow you to share. So when you have gotten to that specific assignment on Word, then you will indicate that, right, I am doing the editing. Right, okay. So you will say, okay, I'm sharing. Right, so you browse your computer, right? If you say share, it will say you browse from that computer, right? So you will look at your files, right? Look at your files, check whether you have a file to share, or you will say, let me move and share my screen, right? Like now I'm sharing my screen with you, but at the same time, as I share my screen with you, I'm able to go into Word, because that's where you are doing most of your academic work. There is my Word document. So as I start my essay, which is what I'm going to start doing now, but I wanted you to do these things, you know, right? So there is a topic, maybe it says, let's say maybe discuss the importance of, as I say, discuss the importance of health education. This is just a topic that I'm going to discuss the importance of health education in South Africa. And I know my font is very small. I'm just going to demonstrate something there. Okay, that is your topic. I think somebody's mic is on. Just close it. Right. So now I'm just demonstrating here. I've just done a text there. Remember now you are required to do font. So are you able to see my screen? I hope my screen is visible as I share it. Okay, so you go to the font. Right, guys, this is basic computer use, you know. So what you will do now, you'll be like, okay, let's start with my first paragraph. Okay, health education refers to a process of teaching people about good health habits and choices. All right, this is my text. I'm just going to to stop there. Okay. So I'm now going to move now and say, can I then do a proofreading? So like I said, if you come to this here, it will say home, then it will give you review. I like review. When I've clicked review, it will take you to editor. I'm sure you see that editor, or spelling and grammar. Okay, you can see now that as I hit that here, the word people has not been properly spelled. And on my side here, it's already giving me suggestions. And it says ignore, add, or you fix. So now you fix that. Okay, so it gives you the word people. You click, that thing is auto-corrected there. Okay, but there's another word there. You see, I was saying it's not properly spelled. So what I do, I click as well there, and the right word comes. So I must select the word, the word that I need there. Health education refers to a process of teaching people about health habits and choices. Then I do that. Right. Can you see now? I can write a lot and go on and go on and go on and go on. But that thing now is showing me clearly where I needed to fix. Then on this side now, it will say editor score, calculated words. Then all the issues there have been sorted. Right. Then you have editor there. I've cited, you have spelling and grammar. There you have got word count. This thing already shows me that I've got 24 words. And then I have just done 4 lines. If ever it's telling the truth, there is 4, hopefully. Then you 24 words, character and spacing. Right. So this is what I want us to be discussing. Because you cannot do an academic assignment without the use of Word. Right. Any reactions to what I've just done? Any contributions?
Yes, I am now connected on the online.
Awesome.
I'm both now. I just moved now. I think I've logged in now with my student number.
Thank you.
My user email.
Can I get another person that will also volunteer to share after him? Can I get 3 more? I don't want to get what I would say is maybe everyone must get the opportunity to practice. You are observing, yes, but take the opportunity to practice as well. You saw me taking you through that exercise. So everybody from now onwards, hopefully, we are going to start getting our work done on the computer and the proofreading process done there as well. I'll just share this one. There you go. There is your Word document. It's like that. Now, let's see how this is going to process. I'm not going to read anything here, but you will see how it works. You have been typing your work. Everything is now in there. Right. Now you want to say, okay, I want to do editing of this document. Like I've indicated, you will go here where it says home. Then you will do a review. After doing review, you will say, okay, let me check my spellings. Like I've indicated, your spellings are all indicated there. Usually there is the word that is problematic is written in red. But sometimes be careful when you are doing this editing, because, for example, the word analyze is supposed to be SE if you are using the British English, but it's ZE if you are using the American English. Now, take note now, if you are using American English, it must be American English throughout. Do not mix SE and ZE. So in words like organization, the organization sometimes is will have S, like when you say zation, organization, is going to be SA, but in other in the American English, it's ZA. So do not mix the two. So if you decide to use S, that is used for the British English, please continue using S for the British English, and that implies that your work is consistent. Okay, so if you don't want to change that word, you do not change that word, you leave it, you ignore. You ignore. Let's see if I can make it more visible. Now very small. Okay, all right. Although the words are now big, I hope you see there. Right, so when you go through the process of doing editing, you will meet words like, maybe, like I've indicated, that is the word analyze. You just leave it like that because you are using a British English, so it's always S, right? So you are not going to start changing and using Z here. You can see that will give you an indication to say, are you going, it can even ask you to use ZE. So you say, no, I'm fine. It's not like everything that comes here should be changed. You make sure whatever you are doing is in line with either the British or the American version, right? You can see this word researcher here. Let's see what the problem is, right? So there's no full stop there. You can note now, this one was written, but there was no full stop there. It is important that even small punctuation marks as full stops cannot be ignored. I'm sure when we went to grade 1, we were taught about a full stop. But sometimes when we get to university, we forget that the end of the sentence has to be punctuated with a full stop. So you click that and it will put that full stop for you. So basically, the editing process will give you those specific words that you need. Let's see what's wrong with my interview there. Okay, you see here, it requires that you put a comma here before you put the word and. But now remember that is still optional. If we normally write and we hardly put a comma when we are joining interview end, right? But should you start doing that, you'll understand now that every sentence will have to get that, but you can choose to just ignore that. Say, okay, under normal circumstances, you don't put that comma there, right? What is wrong with this last word there? It has already been highlighted as well, okay? You click, it will show you that there's no full stop. That full stop must be there. The process puts it for you, right? So you have done that. I think there's another interesting one. You see this word behavioral. So this one is saying behavioral changes. Don't worry about what this text is saying, but just look at what's happening there. Look at that spelling, behavior, okay? So if you check there, there is another spelling that will say behavioral. It's supposed to be spelled like that. I hope you see now that that behavioral has changed. But that is not the standard English spelling of behavioral. So that behavioral would normally have your spelling there where you say it's behavior, right? So you do not have to change everything that this proofreading tool suggests. Right, any comments based on what I've presented? And I hope you're going to do this from now onwards. You are not going to write your work on a piece of paper. You are now going to write your work on a computer, and you will be following some of these, right? All right, let's start now. I'll just comment here, or then you will also comment. Then I will take it from there because I'm the one that apparently, I thought you could share, but it's fine. Then let me handle it from my side here. Yes. Right. So first, remember I'm now talking to all the students generally. Yes. Right. First issue there in your proofreading, as you can see, this document, obviously, you is to get the right font because that font is too big. Of course, because I'm projecting it here, I'm not going to change the font, but you need to stick to the font that you were prescribed to do what to use. Right. There are certain fonts that we cannot use in the academic setting. You know, I see some students sometimes, you know, they can come here and try to be fancy with fonts, right? Sometimes you are instructed to use Arial, okay? If, for example, your module, they will tell you you must use Arial for this one, or they will say you must just use let's see the other fonts there. I think it's Roman. Wait a bit there.
In Calibri.
Yes. So you need to choose academic fonts here that, you know, we don't take everything here. There's fonts that are never appropriate. And then with some assignments or pieces of work that we receive, people would put a red background or a green background. Obviously, all this is done in the white background, and the font is usually dark. Do not use red font. I'm saying this because we have seen this being submitted in that way. Okay, having said that, we now look at the issues of grammar. Now you must obviously tell me from your side, because I will be actioning it for you here. You'll tell me how you are editing. Then we will follow out presenting for them, right? Go through the process. You are looking at my screen here. Take them.
All right. Okay. From here, I will be able to take my cursor to review.
Right, to review, yes.
First things first, I will have to unbold my font and choose the right font first.
Yes, right. You'll have to unbold that one. But like I said, sometimes if right, you see now it's bolded, then it's unbolded, right? Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it means good. Then it will be the size.
Yes, obviously we agree, because we are projecting it here. We'll keep it much bigger.
Much bigger. Okay. All right. Then we can go to review.
Right. We go to review.
And then we go to spelling and grammar.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, and then on the far right, my right, I don't know which one would be your right, but my far right as I'm sitting, then you've got that the editor's column.
Yes.
Where now it's showing me
the right one must change.
Yes.
Right. Right. Yes. We have done that. Yes, we'll do that. Yes, done. Then next.
Yes. Next, I will have to realign my paragraphs.
Then where do you go?
I will realign my paragraphs. Then I will have to let's see. I will have to go back to home.
Okay, home.
I go to home, and then I don't know what do you call this. Just between mailing and review in the bottom.
Yeah. You mean the justify?
The justify, yes.
That is called. You see, it's interesting that some of these assignments are sent and the document is not justified. Okay, so it's important that, yes, let's see now.
Yes.
I'll just reduce this font. Let me reduce the font a bit so that I can justify. This is 13.5. Let me just go to 12. Okay, so just a minute, so that they can see how this document looks like when it has been justified. Okay, so we come right
now. When it's justified, now I need now to align what I will call my second paragraph back to the first para.
Right. I want to point to this now, that when you have justified, I want to clarify something. When they have justified the last part of the document, can you see that all the words are aligned?
Yes.
There is no, let me just unjustify and show. You can see now that this document now, it starts behaving like that.
Yeah.
Can you see that? We can't have a document submitted like that.
No.
And then it's assessed. We want it to have a uniform alignment like that. So your document, certainly it has to have that kind of alignment. Yes, yes. So we got that. What else?
Yes. From there, then I go to the document with my cursor. I go to the first line of my second paragraph. There by 2020, just in front of the, yes. Then I space, do I backspace?
Right, you backspace.
Not there, but behind 2020.
Where it says et al.
Yes, I want to realign the 2020
to et al is already. You cannot say et al and that 2020 is a run-on. It must be there.
It must be there. It must get back there. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. When it's like that, then I know that at the end of my paragraph there by COVID, I must have a full stop.
Yeah. Obviously, that if you go to a review and then you do your editor or your spell check editor, particularly, that start coming. Right.
Yes, it says coming. Yes. Now it's at 77. Yes. Then now it definitely I will have to even again backspace from where I've put the brackets between Baldwin and Evernet.
Yeah. Look, I'm very happy with that part. I'm very happy. It means that process will go on and on and on.
And
right.
On and on, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I hear you.
Yes. Then I make sure that now my spacing is the same all throughout the document I'm writing.
I hope that everybody understands the spacing now and they know where to go, right? So for spacing, so they will still have to go to where?
Right. For spacing, okay.
They obviously
we have to go back to the document.
Yes, and it's home. It's home.
Yes.
And then what else?
To the doc, I know that I'm gonna remove that full stop I've put to bring now the bracketed citation for the two authors.
But let me say something here. Wait. Let me say something. Can you see on the pattern here that we did for justifying? You see the justifying on review just at the bottom. The next one there, when you hit it, you are going to get spacing 1.0, 1.15, 2.0. Normally, they will tell you in your assignment that is 1.5. So you hit 1.5. I'm sure you realize what has happened when I hit 1.5.
Yes.
So if I hit 2.0, can you see what that document is doing? But that you cannot do spacing like that in the academic situation. It's now too much. So
too much.
We now need to reduce it. 1.0 0 is too crowded, you know. So normally there are specifications for each essay. If you read, they'll tell you use this font, use this spacing. So now we do this. I'm just going to use that one, 1.5, because that's what I normally use. Right. So you can see now your words are clear to the reader.
Clearer and readable.
Yes. Right. What else?
From there, I still go back to, I go to review again.
Yes, you go to review.
And then spell editor on spell and grammar.
Yeah.
And then I look at the editor's column. Now I need to fix what is on red via going through my document. So with Evernet, because it's a surname of it's a surname, it must be written the same. So I will have to ignore once.
Yes, that's it. So you notice that the word or the editor here does not have all these names. They are funny names. So you need to understand that some of the names must just be left as they are. So we do not tamper with that. Them. Right? Yes. What else?
Now that it is open all the 7, I go, what I do mostly, I will go directly to corrections. I click on spelling, the 5 spellings that I need to be able to do.
Yes. And those spellings are now highlighted for you there.
Are highlighted, yes. So one will be the surname of the author, where now I will go and say ignore once.
Yeah. So you just ignore once, yes.
Yes. Then it moves again to the next one. This word for me, I can be able to change it because the spelling that I would want will be the one that I need to change.
Yes, so sometimes you might realize that while you were typing here, you could have made a typing error. Yes. And this one suggests to you that, okay, now just check with this one, change it. So you might say, change, you hit. Maybe here it says with chokes. I see you could, it says, maybe you wanted to say with chokes or with chokes. Right, whatever.
Yeah, so I'll choose the first one.
I think you have done well there on the, I think that part now of word processing, we are fine. I think everybody now can start seeing how far this thing is working. Now that the document can be done in terms of editing, spelling, there is something here that I still want us to look at in terms of editing. Remember, it's not just the computer that does this. You are the owner of this work.
Definitely.
Right? Supposing now there is no more spelling mistakes, there is no more punctuation mistake, there's no more whatever, everything is flowing logically, is clean. Then now we start looking at the coherence, the logical flow of ideas. And whether this thing really makes sense. Okay, let's see. I know that this has been your rough document. You've just been using it. Okay, but I'll show you something here. So you have started with your opening line about strategies and policies adopted by different countries to cope with COVID-19, and then everything there. Then you put your, can you see you have said that person's name is Saiwo et al. 2020?
Yes.
So that statement there, basically, you are saying it's not from you. You have paraphrased what Saiwo 2020 says. Then let's go to the next part. It is instructive that countries are counting Then you are done. Then you stop there. All right. So what I want us to quickly do when we are proofreading or when we are editing, remember editing, like I said, it's pulling out some information or adjusting the quality of the text. Okay, so you just asking yourself, how does an introduction work? right? An introduction will have a thesis statement, right? Yes, that thesis statement, you have taken a citation from this Sayo et al.
Yes.
But I want to show you something also before I even go further. You see this et al. This et al.
Yeah.
Normally, when you are citing it for the first time, let me just put this in a different color. When you are citing this one for the first time, it is always better to name
all the authors.
All of them.
Okay.
Then you will later on say et al. So that when we are reading, we will know that, okay, this, how many people or how many authors are there? Right. So part of the editing requires you to check your references, whether you say it et al. Without sort of indicating who these people are. So
these people are.
Yeah, thank you. You are getting it right. And I hope other students are getting it right there. Well, let's pause for questions, Let's pause for questions. End up saying, no, we are dominating. They'll end up saying it's the facilitator and his friend. I think these guys are friends, Well, let's hear others. Comments, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody? So we must just continue.
I think I'm improving.
Yes, you are gaining. Certainly, I hope you are gaining there. You should be.
I am definitely gaining.
Okay, right. There are no comments there, but people must talk. We want to hear their voices. You understand? It's nice to talk to people. And remember, as a facilitator, when I'm being assessed for my work, do you know how I'm being assessed? I'm being assessed for allowing new people to share ideas. So the more I talk, the more I get a red on my score. They say, Mr. Mkandla, you're the one talking a lot there. Why do you talk for the students? What will I say? Tell me. Tell me now. I want these people who are quiet to tell me. What will I say when my facilitator report says, Mkandla, you are the one that is taking you are the one that is driving the car. Because if
you can be able to call us by names. Maybe we can try.
No, even if I do that, people just keep quiet. At least I appreciate you came on board. You gave life to this thing. Some people, they're still thinking like, I don't have to say anything. Maybe they are in an environment, and we know that other people are in an environment where talking is a problem. We acknowledge, we know there are some people where
and there is stage fright.
Because
I think the other thing, sir, is most of my colleagues and students, we either are afraid of asking because once once the response is not favorable to what I've requested, some of it is hampers with the persona of a person. So I think what we can even do is students must always check their emails on these workshops on how to assist us in getting confidence in being able to interact with our lecturers.
Yes. There's no better way to put it there, and you have summed it so well. But we certainly need to get into a new habit of participating, just talking, man. Even if whatever you are saying, we are not here to get the best of the views. That's why we need to allow ourselves to just get ourselves talking. When you start talking, you start gaining because you're listening to yourself. You're like, okay, but I said that thing there. Maybe there was a better way to say it. So it's a learning process. It's a learning curve. I'm not expecting people that know.
And I'm happy that for the first time, at least, I got into class and I could be able to interact, because this is what, for me, that works more than my reading by myself and catching up.
Thank you.
Yes.
You see now,
Conversations are hard to forget.
Thank you. Thank you. I think also we have different learning styles. Other people, maybe they learn by just listening to us. It's fine. We're not complaining. They can just listen to the conversation. They can just say, okay, now I learned that. But remember now, this is a practical module. We certainly need to get into the habit of doing it and sharing it and doing it like that. Okay, can I get more comments from the floor before we continue with that document which we're analyzing? Any other comments, ladies and gentlemen, even those that, okay, if there are no comments, we are going back to that document once again. Then we are going to continue. There was some stuff there that I was busy showing. Right. Now, there is a document. Now, of course, I'm no longer going to worry much about paragraphing and everything. I'm now worried about certain technicalities there for academic purposes. Right. So we have done the introduction. Like I've said, try to make sure the introduction there, depending on what you are saying, you must have a thesis statement. This is the central idea of what you are writing. If you decide to make a quotation like you have done here, it's always good also to make your own assertion, because this doesn't come from you. It comes from another person. Say something there along that quotation. Then you mention in this part of the introduction that this essay or presents or discusses whatever it is discussing. So this is called signposting. So make sure that in this introduction, I'm able to see the direction of the essay right there. So when you are editing, you are going to change this to make me see the direction of the essay. Let me share some very nasty experience that I had when I was doing my undergrad studies. I had a poor introduction, very, very poor introduction. And the lecturer just gave me a failing mark based on the introduction. And it was such a bad mark. And obviously, when you have gotten a bad mark, you start complaining, throwing tantrums, writing emails, saying, no, but I got this, I wrote everything there, it's unfair, da, 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 da. So I sat down with I was invited, obviously by then we could go to offices and talk to lecturers. I sat down there, and when the lecturer was explaining the work, she said to me, the introduction is the face of your essay. It is important that when I read the introduction, I must get the mood of the essay, the direction of the essay. Everything must be clearly stated in that phase of that essay. Otherwise, if you do not have a clear introduction, everything derails. So I understood, and I said, okay, ma'am, next time when I'm doing the introduction, I will make my thesis statement. I will define a word or two, and then after that, I will state what this essay does, and I will do exactly what I have stated in the introduction. So I'm not saying this introduction because I know this is your rough piece of work. Let me acknowledge that I'm not judging you based on this, but I'm just using this to.
Okay.
Yes. Right. Let me move now to the next part. While you are using this as an example, some people do submit such work.
Right.
Once you start a citation, I see here, for example, this is Baldwin and Everett 2020. Right. Then it's bracketed. So normally this would have, I think the way we did it, this would have come there.
Back
right?
to COVID, yes.
Right. But you'll note that COVID-19 now will not have a full stop. The full stop will come after that bracket.
Yes.
Right. Now, take note, you must start seeing some pattern there. Look at how you are doing your citations. Everything here seems to say, after you have said something, you just say that one 2020. Then you come, you have written something, You just put this one 2020. Can you see now? I'll show you something here. So when I'm marking your essay, you know what I start doing? I'm like, okay, so this
trouble.
This is this like this. Okay, okay. Now, okay, why is she citing like this? Right. I'm like, okay, but you should be giving me page numbers. Okay.
Page numbers.
Yes. But are these statements? Okay, Splash 2020. Okay. I'm like, okay, Splash 2020. Right. But now you can vary your citation methods, right? You may want to start off by let's go to this paragraph. Which one is going to? Let me try and see a paragraph that opens nice. Okay, I'll start with this one that we have seen. Right. So here now, you might say, I'm just going to write it on top there. Okay. Instead of just putting it at the end there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, right, that's Siwo. Maybe that Siwo was with John. I don't know who that Siwo was with. John. And
Endo Percival.
Endo, right? And then they say it's Percival, right? That was Percival. Right. Remember, at this stage, when you are citing in the middle, you are not writing. I know other people must know that they are not supposed to write initials there, right? Yeah. So just put that year. Let's see what year that was. Let me just, okay, whatever. I think it's 2020. I'm just hoping, right? Yes. So 2020, right? If you just keep on putting 2020 like that, I'll show you the challenge, right? Now, remember now, state, there must always be a strong verb there. What are they doing? They are stating.
They're stating that the strategies and policies as adopted by different countries.
Yes, but like, have a look. Sometimes they might not state, they might argue. Sometimes they might not argue. You might want to be fancy. They postulate. Like this one. Well, I don't know what you may want to say there. You might want to say they assert.
Yes.
You see those words. It's important to just give us that type of a word because it gives us that direction of what these people were doing. You know?
Yeah.
Right. So, right. But there's something there. Putting page numbers.
Yes.
Normally, it indicates that you read. You read. Because
page 24, maybe to 25.
Yes, let's say maybe 24 to 25. Right. Yeah. Then now you start writing what they are saying. There you go. Then you put a full stop. Right. It is what they are saying. Now you must say something there because that's not
definitely
voice. So therefore, let's go now. Therefore, you know, that's why we say we are going to always be using logical connectors. As you see your therefore, then you write what you state. Therefore, it implies or this implies that, right? So when you say therefore, you are now making your own statement there. And then I can tell you that the person that is marking your work is interested in your voice, how you advance the argument. So take note now, I decided to just say when I'm doing the editing and the proofreading, I just want to look at how I'm presenting my ideas. Then I just change a few issues there, like about citation. And then you will also have your references, obviously. Your references, very, very important aspect of your academic writing. I know that you might not have had the chance to give me all these references in full, but then at the end there, I'm going to say.
And I must reference them the Harvard style.
Thank you. Yes, the Harvard style. I think in our previous discussion we did the Harvard style. Do you want to talk about the Harvard style? Yes, I hear you. Do you want to comment on the Harvard, or maybe any other student can comment on the Harvard style of referencing? Can I see hands before I give them a chance? Anyone that wants to comment on that style of referencing, ladies and gentlemen? So these people, the way they are so quiet, they will get me into serious trouble because they must be talking. When you say Harvard referencing, okay, you want to explain it, Percy? Take over.
Just a second, I will go. The little knowledge, I was not taught on the Harvard style, or I've not attended classes on that, but I know that I always ask. I'm very curious when it comes to when we are asked. I know there is few academics that I ask, what is the Harvard style? And then I've learned that before I get info within a document online, let's say I'm using Google Scholar.
Yes.
Let's say I research about COVID-19. Definitely it will, on Google Scholar, it will give me all some will be sites, some will be journals, some will be books, some will be articles from wherever. Within that, I know that you will find a small tab written cite and cited. So I right click on it so that it gives me the types of citations that I want. Then I will be able to choose.
While you're still on that one, sorry to cut you short. While you're still on that one, I remember one of my first presentations, I stated that some people, these referencing things gives them a bit of a challenge. But if we are doing this thing online, like you have indicated, is extremely simple. Let me just, because you said you cannot share, let me just do this now. Because I'm sharing my screen, I will quickly try now and give an online type of a presentation, because you're talking about Google Scholar, right? Are you able to see my screen?
No, I was out of the screen. Let me go back.
I hope our students are seeing it. Right. We have agreed that Google, we are not going to use google.com because sometimes Google is not reliable. So,
yes.
So this is the entry level. This is the entry level of people that have no clue. So we will have to go into my UNISA, because you guys are registered with your my UNISA. Last time when I wanted to demonstrate with my UNISA, because I'm not at this stage an actively registered member, it doesn't allow me to go in there, but I'll show you what you are going to do there to get some of these references without having to struggle, right? So, but anyway, let's start with Google Scholar. So here you will start by saying Google Scholar, okay? You're like, okay, now I have gone to Google Scholar. I'm there, okay. Right, I am busy with a reference that is giving me a challenge. You must now type that reference. Say maybe, okay, or you can search for that reference here. Say maybe the reference is, in your case here, you were looking for for the effects of COVID-19, so you type keywords here, effects of COVID-19 in South Africa. So something I want us to You start seeing there. Right. So these articles start popping up. Then the most interesting part is you will decide there and say, I don't want anything that was done before 2019. I want to be as recent, okay? You say, okay, since 2019. Then you get that one, okay? There you go. Right, you look at that one, you say, okay, that is what I want, but now, just go back a bit. You look at it here. Obviously, you start by checking it first. Open it and see it. It's PDF, you read it, you take what you need. But when you are citing, you come here, where it says citing. And my screen could be small. Let me change this thing and make it bigger for you. Okay. Right, you say, I'm citing. Okay, so let me just put it there as references. Right, if ever you were citing that one.
Okay.
Right. Right, there are many ways there. Right?
Yes.
Now, you will look at these different citations there. Now you will say, this is a journal that you were reading. So when you are doing your citation, you will say, okay, here is the citation, for example. You want this citation. You just come here, you say, okay, now I'm taking this citation. Okay, right? I'm taking this citation. That's supposing that's your Harvard citation. You just say, okay, that's the citation. Let me just take it as it is. And then I'm not going to include this one. This is the citation. So in other words, there are different citations. If you choose one, so be consistent with it.
Yes.
So there you go now. You have already done the citation. There. It's there.
Yeah.
Done. I'm not going okay, but what I can teach you now is that Mbunge becomes the author's name. The E becomes the initials. The 2020 becomes the year. The effects of COVID in South African systems. This one becomes. Are you able to see this, or is too small?
Yes, I'm seeing it. I am seeing it.
All right. So that part now becomes the topic or the heading that you were reading, an explanatory study. This is the maybe it was an essay that they were writing or a research essay. Then this diabetes and metabolic syndrome it becomes the name of the journal.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the journal. Can you see that? If you are putting that name of the journal in italics, all journal names will also be in italics. Then you come here. This is now issue 14.
Yes.
See? Volume 6.
Volume 6.
Then
pages.
There you go. Until that done. Yes. But now, if you obtained this online, like because you didn't. This was not sent to you by post. You were doing this online.
So you sent the link
online. Then that's where you now start saying online.
Yes.
Right. Online. Let me just go there. Online. Then you say it. Then you write that HTTP address there.
Okay.
Yes. Then that link will start coming there. So when I want to follow what you read, I just click there. Something I also want to show you in terms of consistency, because with the references, you'll be told, please be consistent. If you are not consistent, you might lose marks. You notice here that you have not put brackets on 2020.
Yes.
So if you are not putting brackets on 2020, the entire referencing system does not put brackets on 2020. Can you notice that after this E, you put a full stop, then you put that comma.
That comma.
So all the references must have that full stop and that comma after the initial.
Comma accordingly. Okay.
Right. Then you now have your references, but they must be in alphabetical order. Yeah, yes. So all those, you see, this Mbunge obviously will be coming after maybe this is M. So it means you go back to B, all those that start with
A, B, C, D's and all, yes.
Downwards. Then, because it is references, if you're writing references, it's only those that you cited. So it means here you have cited Mbunge 2020. Yes. Right, take note now. Inside,
you must appear somewhere.
Yes, Mbunge must appear somewhere there.
Yes.
So you will say 2020, but we prefer that you put the brackets when you are doing in-text citation.
Okay.
So when you are proofreading now, these are the things that will also be.
So always in text citation, we need to bracket it.
Yes, yeah, because here now, if you do not bracket, remember this has to do with a lot of issues, punctuations. So these numbers, certainly it was a text, a name, all of a sudden there is a 2 here. So these we put in brackets for punctuation purposes. And also you'll note now that when you are doing this proofreading, can you see that between this colon and that 2, there is a space there?
There's a space, yes.
Can you see the difference?
I can see, yes.
So this spacing has got to be controlled. You know, I will tell you now, when I was busy with one of my postgraduate study research, I was in trouble because I was not spacing properly here. Sometimes my spacing was like that. Sometimes it was like that. And that was regretted. When you send your proposal, they send it back to you and say it cannot be irregular in terms of spacing. So you lose marks for that spacing. So you'll notice that when they do what they call track changes, I think, let me just show something there. When your supervisor comments on your work, they will do what they call track changes. They will come here and then they will do, they will put a comment. You can see now there is a comment.
Oh, yes.
They say spacing. And then now you are going to follow all these things and start fixing them at the end before your document can be acceptable. So take note that the spacing is also
important.
Very well. Hey, you know what? We have spoken. I want to give it to the other students to share now. We are almost towards the end of our presentation. Our focus today was on proofreading and editing. You would appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, that we have not done it all. There is a lot that we could have shared, especially with our online research. Remember, nowadays we don't go to the library and read books online. And read books inside the physical library. The library is now where we are at home. So we order materials, we download materials, we reference materials while we are online. We also get some text and obviously annotate them and select specific information that we need to cite. So it now requires that we start getting into advanced levels of technology. We cannot afford to be still, reeling behind technological advancements. So I get so curious when students come on board and say, I have this idea. I want to show you this wonderful method of citations. I want to show you how I obtain my sources. I want to show you how I do this. This is your platform. I also want to learn as your facilitator. Please do not deprive me of that privilege. There's a lot that I will learn from you as well, because you are well advanced in most of the things that you do. I know there's somebody sitting here who might be knowing better than what me and Percival were discussing here. We need you also. Come on board. Take us from one level to another. So I want to say now, let's try to assign each other what we should be doing in our next workshop. We need to continue with this research on how we can improve our academic writing skills online. So if there's anyone, I know, and though you're going to say I'm there, I'm going to share, you are more than welcome to start breaking into new frontiers. Let's research once again on how we can use MyUNISA, because sometimes some of the sources that you are getting outside MyUNISA, you may be asked to make a payment.
Yes.
Yes. But because you are a UNISA student, you can just get the sources for free. So we are going to be, in our next tutorial, we will go into MyUNISA and we will log in and we will indicate how we can cite using MyUNISA, how we can get sources, how we can also use online platforms to enhance the quality of our academic work. I think from my side, quite frankly, I've done a mouthful. Percy, thank you very much for coming on board. And maybe I can get a comment from other students to say what is the next way, what is the way forward in our next discussion. But we are still talking about academic literacy. You know why we call it academic literacy? We are teaching ourselves how to be academics. Unfortunately, now it's within the context of technology. So those of you that are technologically advanced, we need your skills. Bring them on board so that we can share. All right. Thank you, Percy. Can I get some more comments from others before we...
I think one of my comments will be, sir, thank you for the workshop.
Yes.
And I think I would even advise that my colleagues and students, they need to even check the MyUNISA Adobe for them to can do the small courses online so that it can be able to advance the fourth industrial revolution that UNISA is embarking on e-learning, so that at least it becomes easier when we are interacting.
If you don't mind, just type that on the chat box, right? Just type, you may type that a bit. Okay. I know some might, just type that one on the chat box, Percy. But it's quite a powerful contribution, Percy. I respect that. I see Katleko's hand is up as well. Katleko?
Okay, so what I learned today is just to also be consistent in our referencing. I think I struggle with that because I just write the referencing how it is. So it's important, those commas, those spaces, everything must be consistent. But I wanted to ask about next week. So should we prepare something?
Certainly. You know, I feel good when you have prepared something and we are developing you from that perspective. It makes even our work easier when we come up with something to the platform and we say, look at this, how can it be improved? Also bring in new ideas, especially with regards to online navigation, how you access your sources online, how you save them, how you, everything, because we are sharing. That aspect of sharing is what I want. So I will give you a platform like I gave Percy today. I give you the platform as well and say, take the lead, share. Yes, thank you, Katleko. Thank you. Anybody else? You will notice now that for you to succeed, you will keep on reading. Remember, there is reading first, then writing follows. Do not attempt to write before you read. Otherwise, you write your own imaginations. Read and yes, it's true. Read as much as possible on a topic. Then organize those ideas. Then marshal them into your own paragraphs. And do not forget to put your voice in that and make it coherent, introduce, develop, and conclude, and then check for spelling, punctuation, and grammatical errors. My time is up. I think I must respect time.
Before you go, sir.
Yes.
I am going to consult more, especially on the the grammar itself.
Yes.
And how to use my own thinking with what I have read, so that I can have a fluency from background until the conclusions.
I appreciate that. So Percy, do not disappear in our next tutorials. Stay with us. And I want to encourage other students as well to come on board and, support Percy. Agree with him where you want to agree. Remember also where you differ, just differ. We are not here to agree. Sometimes we might differ, and we also have to respect different opinions in the academic context. Look, I may talk and talk. My time is up. Let me sincerely thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for making today's session very, very live. Let's keep it like this. Let's keep the flames burning. In our next tutorial, we will continue analyzing our academic endeavors. All the best for the remaining evening. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.